Okay, so right now you're in Romania, and how long have you been a mindset coach?
Uh, 9 months.
9 months. Okay. So one of the things that I'm very interested in is the story that gets you to that realization of I'm gonna help people with this. And usually it's sometimes it's due to our own overcoming of certain circumstances. So I'm very interested. So what's your own story?
So for me, I grew up in this environment and with this idea that I won't amount to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was born with a growth mindset, and neuroscience wasn't here. So I have the idea of a growth mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no evidence 15, 20 years ago.
Mm.
And then at 26, I remember I was sitting on the couch with my dad, and I said, I'm going to go do an MBA in England.
Mm.
He was like, oh, I'm not sure. And then we got together as family and said, if this is what you want to do, okay. And I told my brother, I'm going to do an MBA and work for one of the biggest company in the world.
Mm.
And before that, I wouldn't put effort into anything because I didn't enjoy it. Like, it wasn't like I can't.
Mm.
It was like, but you don't understand. And also, until the age of 26, our prefrontal cortex isn't developed yet. So it's like your brain changes. It's like, oh, you're fully developed. You think differently. And then I did an MBA. I finished it and I got hired for one of the largest market research companies in the world.
Mm.
So that was one of my big, long term plan. And I remember that, and I was like, so what? I was so unfulfilled, so unhappy.
Mm.
Everybody was like, oh my God, this is great. You live in London, you work for this company. Like, we had clients like Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah. Mm.
dude, like, and everybody was like, this is insane. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm not happy.
Mm.
I was like, what's wrong with me?
Mm.
Like, and when I talk to people, I would say I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so weird. And this is because of culture and the environment. It's like, I have everything, but I don't feel okay. So I remember I was outside with a glass of wine in my hand, like I remember it was today, and I was like, now what? And I was like, there must be more. There must be more. I was always passionate about human nature, how we behave, but I can't describe that feeling of emotion. It's like when you lose everything, because you're like, this wasn't just a 1 year goal. It was like, I want to work in a big company. Like, this is like when you're a kid, you kind of want these dreams. So that was like, there must be more. And then I started listening to the people that I admire. And I remember this one line that Gary Vee said in an interview. He was asked, what is your happy place? And he said, in my head. Since that moment, and I'm not joking, I was like, my happy place needs to be in my head. And there was a huge
Mm.
journey from where I was,
Happy place
where,
needs to be in your head. Mm.
yeah, to where I got to. And then I was like, I started asking myself questions, lots of them, because I was just chasing something and never stopped and talked to myself. Hey, are you happy? Are you okay? What do you need? What do you want? Like, we're not taught that. And then we thought like, oh, you can't be emotional or you don't. And I'm like, and it was like this flip switch, and
Mm.
it never turned off.
Mm.
And this thirst of knowledge and applying that knowledge. And fast forward, because this was like a few years ago, I came to Romania for a holiday,
Mm.
uh, and then I was like, COVID happened, and all my life was in London.
Mm.
So in my mind, that was a failure.
Mm.
People didn't perceive it as a failure, but for me, my biggest failure was coming back here in my mind, like perception. And then I was like, okay, I can't control this. Like, I realized I can't control anything. Like, Before I was like this iron fist, like I need to have this, I need to do this. And then I was like, actually, I can't control it. Like we live in a pandemic, you know? Um, and while I was doing the soul searching, I saw an interview with someone, and they said one day I'm gonna meet this person, and they will become my mentor, and that happened. And after that, all the people that I was listening to, they are now my friends or my mentors. And I'm like, if I can do this, I'm from a country, you have to Google it. If I can do this, anyone can. Also, I lost 17 kilos. I don't know. Yeah, like 16, 17 kilograms. Now I want a six pack. I change everything. And I was like, because I felt I was worth it. I started loving myself. People push through things, and even with mindset, like I have like this holistic approach of mindset, neuroplasticity, psychiatry, philosophy, human needs, like all of it. Because let's say you have a goal, because I paid the price of having a goal, and the journey didn't excite me. And when you reach to the goal, you can't be happy because there's nothing there. And another thing that I've learned is I was very disconnected from my emotions. So it's like, everybody says you need to feel joy, you need to feel happy. It's like you need to go through sadness first that we usually bottle up, and then you it's not like you can pick and choose. And I didn't know that. So when I started meeting these people, they became my mentors. And that's yeah, when it was like this moment of, because I was like, these people have something that I don't. I want to have what they have. So it's, and then I was like, because I built relationship in over, I think, yeah, it's a year now. And people are like, how do you do it? It's showing up. It's just, we talk about authenticity often, like, be yourself. You have no idea who you are, and no one knows why. Because our brain from the 0 to 7, when we're kids, we have two basic needs: safety and authenticity. And because we can't survive without a caregiver, we sacrifice authenticity for safety. And that's why you need to go to do this journey deep within. And that's how I discover, like, I love humans. I'm so passionate about this. My biggest dream is to change the next generation in the ways of giving them the tools to dream big. Because I heard stories of others made me dream big and on this journey. So it's like I just want to pay it forward. And also, my dream and goal is so ambitious that I, I don't know if I'll achieve it in this lifetime. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's this, and it's not an easy journey. It's not easy. Like even when I work with people, I have people that I don't keep them on, and I'll give them their money back and all of that, because I'm not about the fluff. Like, everybody can make you feel good. I want to guarantee you goals and outcomes, because even if you want to build a business, you need to be aware of your triggers of that. Like, we lived in this world where we would separate someone who goes into the office and someone who's at home. It's still the same person. It's like, how can you find the harmony into that? Because for me, my passion came when I was sitting and I was like, I love so many things, right? Like, I love reading, I love watching movies, I love studying human behavior, I love neuroscience, history. I can combine them in one thing: human behavior. So it's like, and also, like, to succeed in life, you actually need five things. First, it is interest. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but you have an interest. Then is passion, is combining that. Then is purpose. It's, you take all of it and you put it into one. Then is the freedom to follow that purpose. And the last one is to become is mastery. That's why some people become great, because they have this desire of becoming the best at something. And that needs to be fueled more than just external things like money. Like, someone was asking me, like, when when you're tired, when you think you don't have anything in the tank, and I use 80/20, 80 light love and 20 dark, because I think about the kids who don't have any food. I think about the kids who don't have a point of reference. I think about the kids who everybody tells them they'll fail.
mm,
And that is like just flipping a switch into my mind and gets me into this obsessive of I have to push more. So it's like it's not just, yeah. And also like my thirst and curiosity of learning and knowing stuff is what helps, because you can't never get bored of this subject. Like it's so complex, and now the lips they are doing in studying emotions and all of that is gonna change a lot. And we discover a lot about the brain in the last 10 years than we knew in the last century, I think. So yeah.
so part of your work deals with neuroscience. So what has been the most profound thing you would say that you have found neurologically that happens to people?
Neuroplasticity, the fact that no matter the age our brain changes, like there is no age where you stop. Also, I met someone who was had an accident and her emotions were wiped out. Memories and emotions, like her emotions. Like she was telling a story of her ex-husband. They used to hate each other, and when she saw him, she was like talking to their friends, like, "Why did we?" And they're like, "Oh no, no, you don't understand." So this brain, it's fascinating. It's a whole world,
Mm,
and also it's like how it's exposed to different environment. Like your environment is gonna determine a lot. It's like, as I said, from the age of 0 to 7, it's like so plastic in the beginning.
mm,
And I wonder if we can carry the ambition and drivers we have as babies and kids,
mm,
because it's not like you try to walk and you say, "Oh, walking is not for me anymore," right? You
mm,
try until you succeed.
mm,
So I think there is something in ourselves
mm,
that we can tap in, and we are not aware, like, to go that. But there is a lot on the brain. It's also like I met someone who was in a coma and woke up after 4 years, and no one knows how.
mm,
Like in neuroscience and everything, that also people who heal themselves,
mm,
or people who didn't know they have anything, and then the doctor said, "Oh, you had that," and they're like, "Oh, I never knew." There is something that goes beyond what we can comprehend at the moment.
mm.
Also,
People
how
who
culture is shaped.
people
Pardon?
people who hear themselves,
Hmm?
people who hear themselves,
Heal. Like, there are people who heal.
heal themselves.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, heal themselves. Like, there are thousands of examples, and it's still something that happens in the brain. Uh, I don't know. It's like, I'm just thinking what else. Like, the idea, I believe that human potential is limitless.
mm,
And that's what our brain shows us. And the whole system.
mm,
So, yeah.
that's an interesting one. Love your story. Romania. Do you what language do you speak in Romania?
Well, I speak Romanian, and I'm actually, my grandparents were from Greek. So
Mm,
I'm Aromanian. So we have our own language, our own traditions. We don't have our country.
mm,
So I speak Romanian, Aromanian, English, Italian, a little bit of Spanish.
mm,
And I think that's it. Yeah.
mm. Wow. And right now, your dedication is to help people with their mindset, to help people with their mind. And I like your approach. You're looking at it from both science and all perspective.
Yeah.
It's a very holistic approach to the mind, and absolutely love and believe in what you do. Um, for the people who are interested in working with you, who connect with your message, how can they reach out to you? How can they work with you? What's your process?
Well, I use Instagram. It's my favorite social platform.
Mm,
It resonates with me.
mm,
Um, and they can just send me a message. My website is under construction. I think it's going to be done in a couple of weeks. It's really um, challenging because when I work with someone, in what I do, I want my fingerprint to it. So everything that you wrote and put on has to be written by me.
Mm,
So it just takes a little bit longer, and I'm not rushing anywhere. So yeah, right now Instagram, I'm on Facebook, Clubhouse, like all of those, mostly on Instagram, and I send also my exercise and guides for free. Like if you struggle with something and I can just send you an exercise, I'll send it to you, no charge.
mm. Okay. So what would you? So a person comes to you. What do they expect to get?
It,
What would they take? Like what transformation would happen to them?
well, one of the things is understanding themselves,
Mm,
because I think the fundamental thing is understanding.
mm,
Then start accepting ourselves,
mm,
then forgiving, then becoming more kind, and then loving.
mm,
As most people will say, I want that.
mm,
And in the same time, in their DNA, I can go, I also study quantum memory, right?
mm,
Say, I'm not worthy. Because I met some of my mentors, made a lot of money and lost everything because they didn't feel worthy
mm,
of having what they had.
mm,
And then it's like you work on that because um, you can achieve anything. As I said, I achieved and I still ended up in the same place, right?
mm,
Like I achieved my goal and I ended up in the same place I was
mm,
because I wasn't doing the work. And yes, I lived the life they want.
mm,
Like that the whole purpose is actually living into your purpose and allow yourself to change your mind. Like everybody wants to do this. No, I've done all of that, as equivalent of I want a Ferrari or that like me. And then I ended up on this, and there are no bad decisions. Like we live so much into our past. Like my dream is going getting out of the matrix. Like that's what I want for everyone. And what I mean by that is every day when I wake up, I have no idea what's gonna happen until I don't start making choices. That means the past me who have the experience is out, and I don't think about the future. I live in that moment. And this is how everything is building and coming together. Like you have a goal. Like when people come with to me, the first thing is make that goal crystal clear, because people aren't crystal clear. Some have to do list,
mm,
some record it. Like you have to be clear. As I said to you, I want to help the next generation. Like it's so clear, and I know how. I'm not just saying I want to help people.
mm,
No, no, I know how, I know what I want. I know my what and my why.
mm,
So yeah.
mm.
And another thing is stop looking for validation from others, because that's a big one. Like we chase things because what the neighbor is gonna say about us. So it's basically freeing yourself from all of this and getting clarity and what you want in your life, like what you want, and like we guarantee like profit, because it's like I can make you feel good, but that's the point, is to create a better world.
Mm,
So I want you to be better so you can help other people and so on.
mm. Okay, so something that interested me was what you were saying about getting out of the matrix, and you gave an example of waking up and just living in the moment. Would that be considered as getting out of the matrix?
That's my consideration.
Mm, okay.
Like, okay, the matrix for me is what I have learned,
Mm-hmm.
and unlearning what I have learned, and understand that if you say a word and I get angry,
Mm,
or I have a reaction to it, that's a trigger.
mm, mm,
So understanding, like, it helps me to be more calm, more empathetic, more understanding, It's or I do another thing is I imagine my brain in a jar. So everything I know disappears and I don't focus on the future because I'm gonna put something here. Fate is I had no idea I'm gonna end up in this position that I'm now. So I know what I want and I have faith I will end up in a better position.
Mm, mm,
But yeah, the thing and because I think time and space is a human made construct, so it's like how can I maximize my time? It's like how can I do in a day what others do in a week?
mm,
Like and I let my brain or different parts of me to take over.
mm,
Like it's very important. Like this is how I see getting out of the matrix. I don't know if it's just my perception. Um, and yeah, it's like moving forward is like having also this belief that this is gonna work even if I don't have any evidence.
mm,
Like my point of reference is not just what I know, and I don't put judgment and conditions based on what I know in different conversation. I'm just being myself and learning. And I can say something today and text you next week saying, "Hey, I was a hypocrite last week. Actually, I've learned something new." So that's how I said.
mm. Okay. So what would you say about people who set to-dos and schedules a day before to know exactly what to do the next day and things like that? Would that
I
be?
think that works for some people.
Mm-hmm,
Like now, I'm starting to build a structure because I need one, which I hadn't. Like as I say, it depends. Uh, but also, it's like look at that schedule and see how much time you waste.
mm,
Because I believe in activity I get paid for and activity I don't get paid for. I'm not busy. One of my core values is accessibility,
mm,
is being accessible to people. That's one of my values.
mm,
Because for example, I try waking up early in the morning many times.
mm,
I'm not a morning person. I have to accept that and not judge myself. Because if you make a calendar, you don't respect it and you beat yourself over it,
mm,
you set yourself up for failure.
mm, mm,
So it depends on perspective and all of that. And then you have people who need a sense of control.
mm, mm. Oh yeah, so that sense of control. So you want to control the whole day, and you want. And is that something that needs to be let go of in your experience?
In my experience, yes.
Mm,
But that's the thing is we are different.
no. Thank you.
So I can speak. Pardon?
Yes, you can speak.
For everyone, I can only say from my experience. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the link to your Instagram, and so the people that connect with this can really connect with you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your story. Thank you for doing what you do, and it's amazing to have you today.
Yeah, it would be a pleasure. And just let me know how can I be of service.